Assalamualaikum. Today, our group will present about relative to risk and return. Our group members consist of Ain, Zaim, Alia and Fatiha.
Hi, my name is Nur Fatia Akila binti Tahrin. I will explain about definition of risk and return. Risk is the potential of unexpected events to occur, or more formally, the variability of returns associated with given assets. Meanwhile, return is the rewards we expect to get from investment over a given period of time, calculated by dividing the asset cash distribution. Relationship between risk and returns. Risk is probability of not realize the expected returns when making an investment. Every investment has a potential variability in expected returns. The bigger the chances the actual outcomes may differ from expected, the greater the risk. In short, positive relationship happen between risk and return because higher the risk, higher rate of return demanded to compensate the risk assumed.
Hello, my name is Nurfaraina Bila binti Azharuddin. What is the difference between risk and uncertainty? Risk is the potential outcome of a decision to act or not act in a certain circumstance that might lead to profit or loss. As a result of internal or external circumstances, it is referred to as a chance, loss or exposure to risk that can be reduced by preventative actions. When we use the word uncertainty, we refer to a situation where there is no certainty or unknown information. It describes a scenario when there are several possibilities that might lead to a certain conclusion, but the likelihood of that result is uncertain. This is due to a lack of understanding or information on the current situation. As a result, it is challenging to characterize or forecast future outcome or event. It is impossible to quantify uncertainty using historical model. As a result, since the probabilities are unknown, they cannot be applied to the possible outcomes. Categories of risk based on investor preference. Firstly, risk-averse investor is investor who demands a higher expected return bearing a higher risk. Secondly, risk-indifferent investor is require no change in return for the increase in risk assumed. And lastly, risk-seeking investor is a step decrease in return for an increase in risk. There are two types of risk, which is systematic risk and unsystematic risk. Firstly, unsystematic risk is also known as specific risk, meaning the dangers that are unique to a single company or industry. However, these risks do not only occur one firm at a time. For example, the unexpected death of the company's president and a lawsuit due to defective products sold by the company, or the success or failure in getting the contract. Secondly, systematic risk is that part of the total risk that is caused by factors beyond the control of a specific company or individual. Systematic risk is caused by factors that are external to the organization. All investment or security are subject to systematic risk, and therefore it is a non-diversifiable risk. For example, war, recession, and radical changes in monetary policy.
There are three methods of reducing the risk. Firstly, take up insurance policies to protect against risk. Secondly, reduce the volatility of sales and fixed costs. Last but not least, diversify the asset portfolios.
Hi, my name is Aina Fatina binti Muhammad Fauzi. For tools to measure risk, standard deviation and coefficient of variation are static measures used to assess risk. High risk is correlated with a high standard deviation or coefficient of variation, while low risk is correlated with a low standard deviation or coefficient of variation. The risk and return calculation for expected return ER. First is the sum of all probabilities multiplied by return. Next, variance, the sum of all when the return is minus the expected return and power by 2, then multiplied by the probability. for standard deviation, ST is the power source of the variance previously calculated. And the last formula is calculation is coefficient of variation, CV. The formula is standard deviation divided by expected return.
Hello, my name is Muhammad Zain bin Zainal Abidin. Hi, I will continue the presentation. This part is about the example question and answer of Chapter 4 Risk and Return Relation. From here, you can see how to answer the Chapter 4 questions. Parkway Incubator is considering an investment in one of the two projects as shown at the slide. From the schedule, there are state probability and percentage of return when the economic condition occurs for both projects. Investment SO and investment YO. The question are: determine expected return, variance, standard deviation and coefficient of variation. Second question is: as a risk-averse investor, which project should be undertaken by the firm? So now, let's go one by one. Firstly, the expected return. The formula is probability times bar return. Based on the schedule, you can multiply it easily. Calculate the probability and return percentage for each economic condition of the project. After that, sum up all the percentage to get the total of expected return by one project investment. The expected return for investment SO is 15% and 17.4% for investment YO. Next, variance. The formula for variance is probability times bracket returns minus expected return. This step has similarity as expected return but different formula. You can take the expected return percentage from the calculation before this. The variance for investment SO is 12% and 5.046% for investment YO. After that, the standard deviation. The formula is square root the variance that we get for investment SO is 3.46 and 2.25 for investment YO. Last is the coefficient of variation. The formula is standard deviation divided by the expected return. The coefficient of variation for investment SO is 0.23 times and 0.13 times for investment YO. The last part is second question. Is we need to pick one best investment project from both. The answer is investment YO should be undertaken by the firm because it is less risky since it has a lower standard deviation and coefficient of variance. That's all from me. Thank you very much.
That's all from us. Thank you for watching.